Angelo Reyes on Vilma, live in LA.
How's it looking?
It's ready.
This is the upgraded compliance?
Yes, sir. Of course, you won't be going outside the safe zone barrier anytime soon, correct?
Who would hell want to leave? You know what's at stake.
Yeah, I know.
Good. Because I wouldn't want you to do anything foolish.
I know exactly what I need to do.
Good.
Warning, warning, code yellow.
Hi there, welcome to Vilma, live in LA. This is the show where we feature artists, singer-songwriters, music producers, film producers, people who make a difference, entrepreneurs, and yeah, people who make you happy. That's what we have right here on Vilma, live in LA. Okay, so this episode we feature a filmmaker, an actor, and a humanitarian. He is Angelo Reyes, an Italian Filipino, and living in the U.S., so he's American. Yes, so we are revisiting the interview we did a while back, plus an update on his current projects. So let's go. Angelo Reyes on Vilma, live in LA. All right, good evening, Vilma, live in LA. And tonight we are so fortunate. We finally have Angelo Reyes in the house. Okay, so he is a filmmaker and an actor. Yay for you.
Yes.
Hi, Angelo.
How are you? Thank you for having me.
Yes, well, thank you for being here. It's yeah, highly anticipated.
Sorry,
Oh,
I do
no.
apologize.
No problem. We're just so happy to have you. Okay, so Italian American Filipino.
Right. Well, Italian Filipino-American because I
Okay,
came to the States.
that's true. That's true. What a great, kind of combination. I love it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, so tell us who Angelo Reyes is.
Well, I am, believe it or not, I'm an introvert. I'm very shy.
No
That's,
way!
but people don't realize it. But I mean, yeah, I'm naturally a shy person, creative. Again, as you mentioned, Italian Filipino. So I was raised in first 9 years of my life in Naples, Italy. So my father from the Philippines joined the Navy. That was transferred in Italy, so we lived there. Met my mother there. She's Napolitana. So my first language obviously is Italian, so I learned English when I came to the States. But Angelo is a creative, loves soccer, obviously, and played football in the European football in Italy. I still play it now today. I played probably every instrument you can think of, only because when I was younger,
Mhm.
I was all over the place. Obviously, I was the middle child, so I was always seeking for attention. So my mom put me in piano, trumpet, trombone. I did ballet, gymnastics, singing. So, but that's my younger days before when I came to the States, and but being a creative in art has always been something that was always in my life from being a kid to,
Yeah.
to this day. Yeah.
Yeah, so how and when did you discover the love for acting in films?
Yeah. So what's really interesting about that is that my major in school was in production, creative designing, things like that. It was still it still overlaps the film industry, right? But mine was more behind the scenes. That's where I started out. So when I left from Virginia Beach to New York, I worked there. I was working for a magazine, and then they started producing shows. There's one show that I ended up coming back to Virginia, to Portsmouth, Virginia, and I was doing most of the production, and I was about probably around 20, 21, 22 at the time. And one day there was we didn't have a host. So lo and behold, I did the first day of that hosting. And then, when you catch the bug, right? So I was like, yeah, this is what and I knew I always wanted to do acting. I just, like, again, I was a very shy, very, try to go out and talk to people. But I didn't know how it felt when I first did it in front of the camera. So that day when I did the hosting, was like, okay, I want to go and do this. So I went back to school for acting in New York, and I trained there ever since. Yeah.
Oh, you go, I could do this.
Why don't we do something, Gray?
Like what?
I don't know. Night patrolling sucks. So why don't we do something fun? Why don't you I tell you what. Why don't we pick up a drunk, drop him off in Suffolk, let them deal with it. Get him out of our city.
Detective Garcia, I just want to ask you a couple questions about what happened to her.
Does it matter? What?
Brandon, your father has a pretty good security system set up, and we watched all the footage up until the incident.
This competitor beat us to the specimens and is now in possession of them.
Do you know what they call it when you sell a top secret weapon to a foreign national? Huh?
We can fix this.
They call it treason, I think.
Yes.
You've also done shorts, the films, and you transitioned into production, directing. So can you share a little bit about that, please?
Yeah, absolutely. So, like I said, in the beginning, I've always been in production. That was my first job. That's like my first technical job.
Okay.
And when I started transitioning to acting, I was still doing the creative part of it, the back end. I didn't start actually producing or developing shorts or film in general, probably not until like 2015.
Mhm.
So it's fairly recent. And the only reason why I started to do that because I had a little bit of a struggle with the acting part of it, just because at that time I wasn't fitting, your status quo. I wasn't, when I was trying to audition for Italian stuff, I didn't look your typical Italian, even though I spoke much better Italian than everybody in the room. And then when it started going to something, the Asian side of it, I wasn't quite that Asian. So it was hard for me to compete with that in that room. So with that being said, I said, okay, let me just develop something while in between, just to show that I have other things, because obviously with Filipino last names, we have Hispanic last names. So majority of the time, I did Hispanic roles, which is fine. It's great. And it kind of helped me develop me as a better actor, because then I started to act as something that I wasn't, and starting to develop my skills a lot better. And then I had to learn Spanish too, so which wasn't really hard, just because my first language is Italian. But developing the own project was something that did two things for me, to show that what else I can do, right? What other roles I can play from low to high end, and what languages I could speak. And so mainly what it started off as something for me to show as a reel, but then it evolved to something much bigger after that.
Yeah, I mean, that's the beauty of it. You find something and then it grows from that.
Yeah.
Like, well, even for me, it's a lot of things. But then we're here to talk about you.
Oh, I guess this is good. I would love to hear more about your journey too. It's interesting.
I know. But a lot of the viewers kind of know already. Okay. So, you really are, breaking the mold and breaking the barrier, which is really good because it's time. Most recently, I've been seeing a lot more Asians in. I like the Apple.
Yeah.
I watch a lot of the Apple shows,
Yeah.
and I'm like, whoa, the cast is
Yeah.
awesome.
Yeah.
And even the CBS, I think there's some like the okay, promo here. The one in
Quantum Leap.
Hawaii, you should
Oh
see
yeah.
the whole
Yeah.
height. They're
Oh
all
yeah.
different, but I love the beauty of it, and you're part of
Absolutely.
that. breaking that mold. How does it feel?
And no, it's great. It makes things a lot easier to be honest. I mean, when I first started, it was tough because, you know, we didn't know how the audience would react to it and what the difference, because a lot of the stories that I write they're human impact stories, right? But what I do, I put Filipino lead characters in them, and they're not entirely Filipino stories, but in order to have that representation, you need to put them in lead roles instead of all these supporting roles. But the story needs to be compelling that everybody else, whatever culture you're from, understands it, right? Or can relate to it. So, I know, fast forward now, it's obviously it's a lot easier just because, you know, people are starting to catch on. Like, okay, let's watch what this person has or this person has, which is great. I mean, every culture based in Hollywood has gone through this, and now it's, you know, our turn. So and it's fun to see how everything develops. You know what I mean?
Oh, I'm so happy. So, you talk about your films and how, these are true stories.
Yeah.
And that, is it part of your kind of like your mission to tell the story, create it?
Yeah. So what's really my mission and vision is not just to make films or stories for representation, but there's always a message and a meaning behind it, because I'm telling people stories that cannot be told, right? Or they're too scared to tell. You know what I mean? And I do a lot of research beforehand. So a lot of my stories, I do meet the people beforehand, but I do change the names and things like that. But it is based on people's lives, things that happen in my community, things that happen that in times that people have not heard about, right? Because a lot of the stories that I have written and produced, when people watch, you're like, I can't believe this thing ever happened. I said, yeah, absolutely. And I would bring them at film festivals, and they would do their testimony, which makes it a lot, you know, more important. So like I said, it evolved to something bigger than just making films. Now you're actually, you know, it's like an activist, right? You're telling a bigger story, trying to change people's lives, things like that. So it's grown much bigger inside me.
Yeah, and you're doing it in the most positive and creative way where,
Thank you. Thank
there's no judgment there. There's like,
you.
wow, what can I do to, to help you
Yeah.
make this world a better place?
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So talking about your films and the film festivals, you're a multi-awardee.
Yeah, it's interesting when I never really thought about it like that, right? Until somebody tells me.
So
So
true.
so it's like, because you know, you go to different festivals, and then, you know, and in the beginning, you know, I was still new to it, so I just, you know, submitted. But the reception out of that really changed my perspective about things. I'm like, okay, maybe I'm onto something. Because when I saw it, I was like, oh, this is something that's it's a really good story. But what's interesting is that a lot of the audience saw other things, right? So for a good example, I did a short on human trafficking, right? And that was based on a true story in Virginia, and it was about the process. But when I went there, the elements that I put in the film, people pulled me over. It's like, you know, there's elements in there that I can relate to, the mental abuse, and that's not just had to be with human trafficking, because it's all that psychological warfare. And I was like, wow, I didn't mean to do that, but I can see what you're saying. But it was like different elements in there that they're picking out. I was like, gosh, I didn't realize I was doing that. But because I was so into it, I was like, okay, now I have an idea of what I'm really gonna tell, what kind of story I'm gonna say.
That's beautiful,
Yeah.
and I'm so happy for you.
Thank you.
took you in. How about you all these nice clothes, nice things? What, you think that's free? Baby, you're part of our stable now.
Now let's change it up a little bit.
Yeah.
You're so involved in the Filipino community in your
Yes.
area. I
Yes.
mean, when I look at your feed, I'm going, wow, look at that. So, tell us about those projects.
Yeah, so
Excited.
we're in Hampton Roads, Virginia, which is the metropolitan area of southeastern Virginia, where Virginia Beach is. And we are the second largest, most densely populated Filipino community on the East Coast, right? So New York is number one, we're second. And because of that, there's a lot of, responsibilities and duties. And I've always been involved with the Filipino community since probably I was like 18, 19 years old. I started with the events because I was in production creative. So I did a lot of the festivals, assisted with the Filipino-American festivals, the 4th of July festivals, independent festivals. So I've always been in that scene, right? It's not until recently where I started getting to more of an upfront type of role, where it's more of a civic duty, more trying to find other younger Philams to fill in the leadership roles, things like that, because there's a shift, right? The older generation, they're already retiring, and now it's the new generation needs to take over, but there's a little gap in between that. So that's my role right now, and one of the organizations that well, actually, there's several organizations, but the main organization that I working for is Philan-CAG, which is the Filipino-American Community Action Group, which was established back in 1991, and that's when I was still in. I'm not gonna tell you, you know my age then, but I was still in high school.
But a number.
So I have the opportunity to work with them and help with a larger base of the community, if it has to do with arts, entertainment, culture. Right now, we're building the Filipino Culture Student Society Room at Old Dominion University. So we're trying to build that out, have that ready by October for the Filipino History Month. So those are some neat projects, and it's they're near and dear to me. So then I think if we have more leadership in the community, the future is bright. You know what I mean? So that's our mission.
Wow, look at you. Your life is so full, because it's in all aspects. You're creative, and like you said, you're part of your civic duty because it's so important to you,
Yeah,
because
yeah,
it is the next generation, and how are they going to be able to live positively
exactly.
and with no judgment? You're helping pave the road.
Yeah. Well, we do our best. Volunteer work is selfless, so we do our
You're
best.
absolutely right. Yes. Okay, so let's talk about, you know, being Filipino, being Italian.
Yeah,
You've
yeah.
got your moments. I would love to ask you about that. So,
Sure.
what is the most memorable that you could think of? It could be funny, it could be whatever, Italian, Filipino.
Right.
Oh,
If I had to think on top of my head, so living in Naples, Italy, which is interesting, and people don't realize that, because at that time there was a lot of Filipinos from the Philippines, and I think Philippines is the only country that were able to join the Navy and the military, the U.S.
mm,
Navy, right? So there's a lot of them. There was like in different droves. So in Naples, if you look at all my pictures in the past, they're all Filipino, right? So all my dad's shipmates, so majority of them married Italian women from there. So it looked like that was normal to me. So I thought Filipinos spoke Italian.
I love that.
So when I was smaller. So that's why that's the funny part for me, is like, when I moved here, and obviously when there's a larger Filipino population here, I assume they spoke Italian because that's what I grew up on. You know what I mean? So I always remember that, and I always think that has always been the funniest part of my life, and I'm just like, okay, maybe that's not it then.
What?
Yeah.
I would love to hear a little bit of Italian. You can say hi to
Sure.
the viewers of Vilma Live in LA. I'm
Right,
Angelo.
right.
And take it away like that.
Ok, buongiorno e buonasera a tutti. Il mio nome è Angelo Reyes, sono di Napoli. È un piacere parlare con tutti, a tutti la gente qui con Vilma. Speriamo che forse ti incontriamo qualche giorno. Grazie tantissimo.
It's like you're singing. Wow. Okay, let's go to your person that you admire the most. I love to ask this. It's like out there.
Yeah. So, like in my industry or
Any,
just in
yeah,
general?
in general.
I think, well, it's more than one. So I have to say, I know people always say my mom and my dad, but my mom, my dad, both of my parents, but um, my mom, I would think is when it comes top of my head because she came to this. She's like the backbone, obviously, of the family, right? So my dad when Navy was he worked. My mom came to the U.S. There because she was the oldest in her family. So she had like 9 brothers and sisters, right? So it's a large family. So she had to become an adult in an early age. So she never finished school, but when she came to the States, couldn't speak English, so she had to learn English from the ground up. And we saw the struggles at me growing up and seeing what she had to go through. I didn't realize until later on in life how strong she really was and the determination. Fast forward, she put herself through school. She's taught herself English. Um, she went through college and then, probably like 20, 30 later, now she has a PhD. So
Oh
you're thinking down the road,
my.
right? So that's one person. Like I said, I'll say both of them because if my parents see this, they're gonna be like, why do you like me? Or so
Yes.
they're both one of my people that I admire. My mom went through a lot of struggle, and to be able to come out with nothing, with something huge, you know what I mean? So and still take care of because there's 3 of us and because my dad was out to sea a lot and still be able to take a household of 3 boys, and that's a struggle for a mom.
Yes.
So so yeah, so that's I think was one of the powerful people in my life. And like I said, my dad too. Sorry, Dad. My dad's my best friend. So
Well, that's good. Your dad's your best
yeah.
friend. Okay, let's go to your like favorite foods, Italian and Filipino.
Okay, so I live in the southern region. Oh, I used to live in the southern region of Italy, so it's in Napoli, which is if people want to look at it, it's Pozzuoli, right? Or Fuorigrotta, Fuorigrotta actually to be more precise. So we make a specific dish called gnocchi, right? That's a Neapolitan dish. It's very southern, so it's potato balls basically with mozzarella and sauce. That's one of my favorite dishes. And as far as Filipino goes, I've always ate chicken adobo, so that's my favorite.
Everyone's go-to comfort food.
Yeah, that's what I go to. I do that today. I even do like a Italian Filipino fusion chicken adobo with pasta linguine and then chicken adobo sauce and all.
There you go. Yes, I mean that sounds pretty good.
I'm telling you, it's delicious.
Yeah,
Best of both
yeah,
worlds.
yeah, absolutely right. Okay, so a favorite quote of yours that you can think of.
Okay,
Off
so
of your head.
so my favorite quote that I can think of, and I always write this thing down, is from John Maxwell. So he said that dreams don't work until you do,
I
right?
love that.
And I think so. This is an important lesson in life because, especially as an actor, I'll take it as an actor, is because actors in my point of view are like they're entrepreneurs. So just like any entrepreneur, we have ideas, we have values, but most of all, we have to take risks, right? So I guess what John Maxwell is saying is that to achieve that major goal in life, it cannot be done with hard work. So that's why I love that quote.
Yeah, I mean, it's totally true because, a dream is only going to be a dream if you don't take the action.
Absolutely, yeah. There's no test, and you can't get the testimony without the test, right?
Exactly, exactly. Yes, but it's good to have the dream then, you work your way towards, sometimes it's not a straight line, you
Exactly.
can meander through, but you'll get there.
And you'll get there, yeah. It's
Yeah.
all to be consistent and always stay the path, because you could be just right there and then you give up and then you never know what's behind that wall. So
Wow, okay. So now let's go back to your passion, your films. What is the latest project that you have?
so right now I did a concept, short film concept based on a true story. I'm changing the title for the feature film, but it's called 21st and Colonial. This is something that happened in 2016 in my community. So synopsis is true story is it's inspired by a true story. So a young gentleman went to Wells Fargo to cash a check, and check was fraudulent. Would have been a misdemeanor if you would have gotten caught. The bank teller called the police. Police officer came, and he got shot 14 times in the car. So I got a chance to speak with the family. I know the son very well, the brother very well, and I'd asked permission to write a story around her son. So I had permission about that, and I did a concept of it. It was first I wrote the feature film for it, and then I shrunk it down to 18 minutes, and I used that as a kind of a pitch short film concept. So and that was going to help me trying to raise funds for the feature films to pitch to different investors. But then I was like, you know what, let me just put this to film festivals and see the reception, so I can learn from that short. Maybe I can change some things, just it was like a test for me. But it got great response, you know what I mean? And I was blessed on that production because the story was so significant. I had a lot of people pitch in and help me. Panavision was one of my sponsors in that one, and they sponsored me. They gave me equipment. Yeah, they gave me a bunch of equipment just to get that thing done. And if you ever get to see it, you'll see the quality of it. So I was very blessed in getting the production value. The city here, the municipalities here, they gave me a lot of things. So it was great filming here in Virginia, and that's why I want to continue filming things down here in southeastern Virginia. But that project there is probably, I would say, it's my key project. Is it's going to open up doors, not just because for myself, but it's a great story. It's a story that needs to be told, and then helps my community out. Filipinos or not, it helps the whole entire community. I do have Filipino characters in there. Obviously, I play the cop. I do speak Tagalog in there. I have a family in there, so I flew in, and this is one of my main projects. So I try to find actors in the Philippines, and I fly them into the U.S. on a major motion picture. So one of them was Sue Prado. So I flew her out of Philippines and brought her here. So she's a pretty big indie actress in the Philippines, and she had a great time. And I said, look, we get the feature film, I'm flying you back so we can do and I always keep my word on that, because people was like, once you get a bigger actress, it's like, no, she did a really good job and I promised her. And then this is something that will help all of us, you know what I mean? So that's the project that I'm working on right now. So keep a look on 21st and Colonial. That's the name of this.
That's
film as of right now, but I'm pretty sure
won an award, right?
It did, yeah. So actually it won several awards, but the one major award, it won the World Houston Silver Remy Award, which that's pretty tough because it's on a point system. and it was a finalist in the Hollywood Foreign Press, the one people that do the Golden Globes Scholarship Award at the Asian World Festival. What's so significant about that is that I was representing the Philippines, so it's like 13 different Asian countries. So I was it was me and another person representing the Philippines. So I was one of the finalists on that one. So that was a great experience.
Okay, so we're almost done. We're gonna request for a little Tagalog from you.
Oh no.
You know I'm
I know this line, and the reason why not say I know some, but I get very timid because I'm a perfectionist, so I try to get the accent down correctly. Just like like when I first came to this country, I had a really hard accent, and I try to get rid of it. So now I have this neutral American accent. Yeah. So I'll just do my introduction. Okay. I mean, hopefully I got this right. So ako Angelo Reyes, Filipino-Italian filmmaker dito sa Amerika.
Galing! That's beautiful.
Salamat.
Very welcome. So let's invite our viewers to your site.
Yes. So it's really simple. It's angeloreyes.com, REYES.com. Real simple.
Real simple, yes. Is there anything that you would like to share before we say thank you?
No, I just want to say thank you to you, Miss Vilma. Thank you so much for your viewers to have me as a guest on your show. It's always a pleasure, and hopefully I'll be back with my feature film when I'm done with that. So.
Yes, you're always welcome. Just knock on my messenger.
Yes.
Well, thank you so much for being with us on Vilma Live in LA. Angelo Reyes, Filipino-Italian American filmmaker and actor. Maraming salamat.
Salamat. Grazie. Ciao.
And thank you so much for being with me on Vilma Live in LA. Thank you, Angelo Reyes, for being such a great guest, and looking forward to all of your films, all of your stories, and all the magic that you bring onto film. Thank you so much. And thank you to you, the viewers. You guys are just super awesome, wonderful, love you to pieces. So from my heart to yours, I always give you a whole lot of ding. Love you. Every day is a good day. Every day is a good day. Every day is a good day with you. The sun